And meanwhile, leaders around the world are frantically looking for ways to stop the spread of the coronavirus. But UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says that won't happen until those leaders work together. Guterres spoke with our partners at the BBC about the lack of global leadership during this pandemic.
You have described COVID-19 as the biggest challenge facing the world since the Second World War. Have you been surprised and shocked by the immense scale of death and the immense scale of economic disruption?
Shocked, obviously, yes. I mean, it's dramatic to see so many people dying, and it's dramatic to see this devastating impact on economies and societies, especially on the most vulnerable people. But not surprised, because unfortunately, what is true is that the world was not able to come together and to face COVID-19 in a articulated, coordinated way. Each country went with its own policy, different countries with different perspectives, different strategies, and this has allowed the virus to spread.
Who do you blame for that? Are you talking about the great power rivalry between the United States and China, this propaganda war that has erupted since COVID-19 became a pandemic?
I think it's obvious that we lack a leadership that can only be possible if the key countries in the world, the key powers in the world, are able to come together.
And when you say about the lack of global leadership, are you talking about Washington? Are you talking about President Trump? Are you talking about Beijing?
I think that there is a dysfunctionality in today's world. I think leadership and power are not associated. There are examples of leadership. There are, of course, powers. What we have not yet been able was to combine in the world power and leadership in a way that could move the whole of the international community to solve our dramatic problems and to do it effectively.
There have been criticisms of the World Health Organization for failing to sound the alarm early enough. Have you been satisfied with the performance of the WHO?
It's a remarkable organization, and an organization that, in my opinion, is absolutely crucial at the present moment and needs to be supported. Now, it is also true that when all this ends, in my opinion, we need to look seriously, as international community, in how this pandemic emerged, how it spread so quickly, and how the different actors that were involved behaved in order to learn our lessons and to be able in the future not to have the same mistakes.
Do you think the Trump administration was wrong to suspend its funding of the WHO?
I believe that it's essential to keep as maximum as possible resources within WHO, because in the present situation, and for the reasons I invoked, it's impossible to replace it in providing support, especially to the developing countries. And today, my main concern is in the developing world.
There's a saying in government, you should never waste a crisis. And what you're saying is that the world should regard this as a wake-up call for another global emergency, which is climate change.
Undoubtedly. And I think we have an opportunity now to do things differently. And I think we have the obligation now to organize the recovery in a way that is much more friendly to the green economy and the green society. Not to spend the money for the recovery in supporting fossil fuels or in bailing out the most polluting industries, doing everything possible to create green jobs, doing everything possible to ensure that when we recover the economy, we build a more sustainable and inclusive one.
If there is one global lesson that we can take from this crisis, what is it?
The fragility of today's world. We are very fragile, and we need to overcome it by working together.
Secretary General, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.